This is Prompto from Final Fantasy XV, and you're watching the Codec.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Codec. Today we are joined by Robbie Daymond. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Hanging in there. I've got my two co-hosts with me today. It's good to have both of you guys back on. Yong, yeah?
How's it going, everybody? It's Yong here, and welcome to another episode of the Codec. That was perfectly timed, by the way. We have Robbie Daymond here, who is, of course, Prompto in Final Fantasy XV. Very highly anticipated game. Very lively character. Awesome to have you here, man. Can't wait to dive into some of these questions and talk about this interesting character.
Absolutely.
And we have Corrupt Ronan.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Corrupt Ronan here, or Alex, if you will. Thank you for joining us for this fantastic episode for the Codec, and thank you, Robbie, for joining us as well. We definitely appreciate you hanging out with us today. So we're going to talk about some Final Fantasy 15 for sure, but also have a few questions on other projects you've worked on as well. So
Me
if you don't
too.
mind me asking those.
Okay, all right.
Definitely.
I'm not scared. You guys don't scare me.
All right.
Guys,
Well,
we're like, I don't know if you knew or not, we're like the multicultural rainbow right now. We're killing it.
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of people make
Yes.
note of when they watch
Big
the
Yeah,
time.
right.
Big time.
All right. Well, Ronan, you are going to start us off today, and I apologize for the dogs barking. Apparently, I don't know if you guys know, but I've got the hurricane. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, whoa.
Oh,
We're getting the tail end of the hurricane, and the dogs are going crazy. So if
I heard
you hear
it was
them,
Tropical storm. Come on. Come on.
yeah, it's easy. It's easy for us down here, I tell you. Ronan, go ahead, buddy.
All right, so first off, to kick the introductions off, I'd like to get you a general understanding of, who is Robbie Daymond, and how did you get into doing voice work for the viewers at home that may not know who you are?
Yeah. I hope nobody does. This is great. Podcast ever. I'm a voiceover actor. I'm based in Los Angeles. There's a few places you can do VO. You can do it in LA. You can do it in Chicago, Texas, New York. I happen to be LA. And I've been a professional for 7 years and full-time for about 5. Nice. So, yeah. And I do commercials and that kind of stuff, but primarily I make my day-to-day living in video games, anime, and Western animation. And I kind of got my start in Western animation and have only really been doing video games for about 2 years now. So.
Oh, wow.
really? Huh. Do you enjoy the content that you voice act for? Do you consume that kind of content?
Oh, dude, I was born in '82. I don't think I've ever lived a moment in my life where I didn't have a console in the house of some kind or another. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. I'm a total gamer. I have been for a long time. I play less now the older I am, but I still get in whenever I can. Yeah.
Of course. Awesome. Well, we're going to talk about some games.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And a little bit of anime, too. Why not?
Oh, I'm ready.
Definitely. Yong, you've got the next question in
Yes.
the lineup, buddy.
So, tell us a bit about what the audition process was like for Prompto. When they bring you in, how did you get the call? How secretive were they about the project, and what did they have you do within the audition itself, if you recall?
Yeah, it's weird because video games, for some reason, of all the different kinds of theatrical voiceover you can do, video games are super secret. Like, they're never, ever the name of what you're going to hear. I'm sure you've heard this before. So there's Codename.
Yes.
And strangely enough, the code name for this was Black. And it was just a color. And, and I had done Final Fantasy Type 0. And the code name for that one, which I thought was a terrible code name, was Yellow P. And I always wondered if the Japanese were in on the joke or not, but I don't think that they were. I think they selected it for whatever reason. But yeah, man, I got the call. We do a voice. I did a voice from home. I have my booth right behind me. Nice. So I did a VO from home, sent it in, got the call back, walked in. It was the directors, Japanese producers, and then kind of the back of my head, I was thinking no, I'm not going to get to do another Final Fantasy because I just finished the pickups for Type 0. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was like, nah, I'm done. I'm going to get my one and done, and that's it. And they had me read. They called me back for. I read for Ignis, Noct, and Prompto, and I had callbacks for Noct and Prompto.
Nice.
And then as soon as I started doing Prompto, I was like, oh, this is the one. Yeah, I was like, this is what I'm built for. So we workshopped a little bit, found the voice, and then sat on my butt and waited for that phone call. And I was super stoked when it came in. Yeah.
Yes, I can imagine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yes, we are very excited to. I think Prompto is one of the, at least from what I have seen, one of the lesser known characters right now who we don't know much about.
Right.
Right.
Like Noctis, who we know kind of where his journey is taking him. With Prompto, he seems very chipper, but who knows where his journey is going to go, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough, to reveal too much of the character without dropping any spoilers or plot points that are going to affect. Let's just say that, that's intentional. So
Okay.
you don't know a ton about him, his relationship. It's because he is kind of an outsider. And aside what you're getting from the Brotherhood clips, if you're watching that companion anime, it's what he's doing there, and he's the only one of them not from their kingdom.
Yes.
He's an outsider.
Okay.
So he's definitely part of the core group, but there's going to be some surprises as the plot point goes along, where the fans are going to like it. So he's goofy sidekick, but he's that reason. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Prompto is going to be one of the more surprising characters. That's the feeling that I get, but we'll see what happens.
But he definitely keeps his he keeps his role. He's definitely comic relief. It's
Right.
he is he is the lighter-hearted Waka. I hate to use vanilla, but he's that this game. Yeah, so nothing too far out of that. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, Daly, go ahead.
Okay, so my question for you, Robbie, is having worked on something as anticipated and as big as a Final Fantasy series, do you find voice acting for this type of game different from some of the other ones that you've voiced in the past, even in the more recent past, when you're working on something big like this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, we worked on it for 2 years. That's one right out of the gate where you go, okay, they're taking their time on, a decade.
I'm saying it's an understatement.
But from my standpoint, 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's right away, okay, this is in process. A lot of care is made into it. They flew in the script supervisor and producer from Japan, who happens to be Caucasian, but he's perfectly fluent in Japanese. So we had him there for every session, telling us, he was able to go, here's the context, here's this. Because some other times when you localize something, it's not that intimate. You basically have, the direct translation, the script writer tries to Americanize it, make it fit the flaps. It's a very tough job. And also make it play in English. Because some things don't work in Japanese to English translation.
Exactly.
So we were really, really lucky to have Dan there doing that. Someone we knew the material. It was just so great. And then the director, whose job it is to direct our acting and really take the reins of everything, Keith Farley, he was able to take that information from Dan, and I just got a full picture every time. So I never had if I had a question with the line, I could just go, hey, and I knew I had context and then acting direction right there. And it was a great way to, can't say enough good about the recording process. It was awesome. Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, because
Really cool.
I hear a lot of times they have just a lot of trouble trying to understand some of the context because, like you said, just the cultural and language differences are so vast sometimes.
I think
the jokes don't carry over and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
that's a big one.
That's a big one, and I think we fixed. I mean, I think it's fixed with Prompto. Yeah,
Okay.
you got to straddle that fine line. You got to make sure the otakus are getting the traditional what they want, but then you got to make sure it plays for an American audience because that's who it's for. So I really think once the game comes out, especially with the brotherly banter stuff, all that stuff was really handled with care. The writing's really good. Yeah, I think Darren DePaul said it in that release video. The writing's good. It's really good. The game's well written, and it's been Americanized in a way that's really playable. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, because you hear a lot of things about, even in anime, for example, where you hear it get changed over into English dub, about how sometimes they change certain jokes to make it sound differently. And of course, you have the purists out there that get upset about it because why did you change this? It doesn't make sense. So it's interesting to hear things like that because there's a reason why it does get changed, and a lot of people don't really catch that.
Yeah. Well, you can't make everybody happy. So,
you're
gonna piss somebody off for making a joke that's not directly translation, and then somebody else is gonna go, "What are these idiots saying?" And then you go, "Well, it's gonna play as a direct translation." So, well, it's a fine line. I think we did pretty good with this one. I'll let the players be the judge, but I'm pretty confident about it.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Awesome. Ronan, you're up.
So to say that you've done a lot of voice work would be an understatement, especially looking at going over your IMDb page and seeing things like, because I was like, okay, and I've heard him in, obviously Final Fantasy 15 and of course Tales of Zestiria, Saray. But when I checked your IMDb page, I'm just like, oh my God, he's been everything in my childhood up until this point almost. So.
Well, it's weird, dude, because I haven't been doing this stuff that long. Like, in comparison to some people who've got, you look at some of these guys have been doing this for 20, 30 years, and they've got 3, 4, 5, 700 different credits on IMDb.
Yeah.
So my stuff's all been within the last 5 years, so I've been, like, really lucky.
Yeah.
But, busy. And busy. No, yes. Talk to my girlfriend. She'll attest to that. But yeah. So I've been super fortunate. Anime's new for me. Video games are new for me. It's weird. Like some of the stuff, you might be looking at my credits. It'll say something I did like in 2012, but that's like when the Japanese show came out. I maybe dubbed it last year. You know what I mean?
Right. So that makes sense.
It's great though. It looks like I've got this long story. Yeah, right. And I'm like, cool. I'll take it. That sounds good. Yeah.
Just realized you have the Venom logo on your shirt, by the way, which is
awesome. You guys want to see
my favorite Spider-Man villain?
Pretty cool.
I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I also collect Pops. That's like my ceiling.
Wow.
I've got a pretty good collection, but no, I got my Spidey over here. I mean, I have all my other junk over here. This is my vanity shelf. I'm a nerd too. I feel you guys. No, I love Venom. I love Agent Venom. I love Eddie Brock Venom. I'm all about it. Yeah.
That's great. How to live life, my friend.
There you go.
Right. There you go.
Oh no! Well, I apparently don't know how to hold my iPad though. No, man.
I saw you had a second part on that question, Ronan.
So, out of all the roles that you've done up to this point, is there any one that you can pull out on the top of your head that says that it was a role that really defined who you are and what you've done so far, or that one standout role that brought a lot out of you?
I just can't. I know it's such a pat answer. I can't say what it is. There's something I'm working on right now that I feel like, in a year it'll be what I'm most known for, and the role that I worked the hardest to get. Nice. But I think up until this point, most people know me as Tuxedo Mask, which is hilarious because I didn't really know that much about Sailor Moon. And now I just realized what a huge thing it is.
Oh yeah.
I watched Sailor Moon my whole childhood, man. I love that show.
It's the gateway.
You got the hat to prove it too.
It's true. It's like a mini top hat, right? It's I need an extra. No, dude. I mean, no. I don't think I'm there yet. No. Yeah. I don't think so. I think I'm working my way through it. So I can't point to one right now that I think defines what I've done up to this point.
Yeah, that's fine.
I haven't found it yet. Yeah, I'll let you know when I do.
Oh, yeah, that'll be awesome.
This other project that you mentioned that is secretive, is it a video game? Can you at least say that?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh man.
Yeah.
So just to add a little the last bit onto my that question. So you talked a little bit about how you've voiced some anime, but is there any particular anime that you are a fan of or have a favorite in your list that you've either done voice work on or maybe not have?
That's easy. I don't. That's an easy one. It's do you guys know Berserk by any chance?
Yes.
It's my favorite anime. The original 26. Yeah. Like digitized all of my DVDs ages ago, but I still have like my Berserk box set.
Collection.
Yes, that's
Can't
awesome,
let
dude.
it go. I can't let it go. There's a few anime box sets and a few movie box sets I just can't let go, and that's one of them.
Have you been watching the new one?
What'd you say?
Have you been watching the new one, the new anime that's been airing recently?
No, I'm gonna wait. I know it sounds silly. I'm gonna wait for the dub. I know.
Right, I got you.
I've got to. I'm so fond of that dub because of, I don't know if you remember, they have all the outtakes on the DVD extras.
Yeah.
It is like the best, some of the best part of that series.
Oh, man.
yeah.
Very cool.
I can watch it somewhere. Yeah.
Cool.
You're up, Young.
All right, I'm gonna skip this question because it was kind of already answered. So, for my next question, did you record any of your dialogue with Prompto alongside some of the other actors, or did you mostly record solo?
Solo. We tried to do a group record and for some of the trailers and the movie stuff, but it's just it's not conducive to video games for localization unless you're doing mocap. It's just it's time consuming. It's slow. It's painful, and I love being in the room acting with other actors. Like you get to do that with cartoons and stuff, but with video games it just doesn't work. Yeah, well,
Sure.
this kind of process. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
But the great part is we had great engineers where we recorded it, and they were able, if someone had come in earlier, they were able to play us the tracks that had been recorded before.
Right.
So we get played in by the circle tape, by what had been chosen director.
Yes.
So that was useful. So a lot of the time Ray would go first, so I'd get to hear Ray in my ear, and most of my interactions are with him. He plays not.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was great.
We like to ask voice actors when they come on the show. Usually we save this question for the end, but we like to ask if you could have in your perfect voice acting world, for video games in particular, if you could have the entire script ahead of time and like study and read your script, or if you could be in the room with all of the other actors for every performance that you exchange with another actor, which would you prefer?
Oh, if there was a way to do it technically that was sound, I would do the cast for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm much more comfortable getting a script and I'm breaking it down right out of the gate than I am. I don't need. It'd be nice to have the script up front, but it's not as valuable as being able to act with another person.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I definitely pick the whole cast. That one's
The
easy.
back and forth is
Yeah, it's funny. It's a back and forth between what voice actors like. Just last week or the week before, I was interviewing a lady, Morla Gorandana, who plays in Destiny and Call of Duty, and she likes to have the script. So it's weird. My actual question for you is: you were just in a recent kind of sleeper hit game called Technomancer. It got pretty good reviews. It's from a kind of lesser. It's kind of from an indie company. Can you tell us a little bit about working with the guys over that worked on Technomancer and how it might be different, maybe from like something big like Final Fantasy?
Spiders, right? I think Spiders isn't that Technomancer? Yeah. From a process standpoint, not really. It was very similar. You get read-ins, you get somebody played in. It was a little more laid back. I don't know. The Final Fantasy sessions were all very fun. We had a great time recording this game. I gotta say, it's one of my favorite.
I can tell.
Yeah,
just in the delivery and stuff that you hear.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. I think that is important. It translates. Technomancer was. Well, we had to play the romance thing, so we were really careful with it because the director is another straight male. Not that it matters, but we knew that was not a common thing that we're doing, to have a male-male relationship. So we were really important and being really careful to try and play that really honestly, and that. So I think that we were really focused on that objective. So that made the room. It was a very serious sort of acting feel to it. Yeah, the character wasn't quite as bouncy as Prompto, so it was a little bit more serious. But no, just a video game, same way they all go most of the time.
Very cool. Well, thanks for that insight, man. I think it's a pretty cool look into something that you don't get to see every day. Ronan, you're up.
All right, so you mentioned how you're doing voice work for Tuxedo. You did voice work for Tuxedo Mask and Sailor Moon, which is a huge part of my childhood growing up, big time. So I was kind of curious about, why you decided to fill the role for Tuxedo Mask. Is there anything significant about that character that makes you feel like this was the role for you, I guess you could say?
Yeah, totally. I didn't even get a call back for that. Like, they just hired me. Because
wow.
And the sensei, I can't remember her name that did the manga. She hand selected all of us. Like, we had final approval.
Oh, wow.
And it's super easy because this dude is like a flirty jerk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just this teasing, flirty jerk. But he's also this over theatrical, heroic goofball. And like, that, too easy. You know what I mean? Like, that's like... too easy. Yeah, that's all I can say about that one. It's real close to home, which is why I can't pick him as my favorite or my ultimate version of my voiceover self because it's close to home. Yeah. That's a little more challenging, I think.
Okay,
I love
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Young, you're up.
All right, so we talked a bit about Prompto, and obviously we don't want to spoil too much about the character, but if you had to describe in just a few words the kind of, I guess, journey Prompto will be embarking in Final Fantasy 15, without spoiling too much, how would you describe it?
I think his is a confidence journey.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you look at this, like in Dusuke and a lot of the cinematics they're showing now are from early in the game, he's just very scared of almost every situation. And though he never, turns into Gladio magically during the course of the game, as the group progresses along, he definitely comes along in that and gets stronger, gets more confident, starts being more awesome. And then when he finally opens up to the group and starts to reveal his secrets, it's everything else before makes sense. So that's sort of why that's Prompto's journey. And whether who all makes it, how far, that's up to how you play the game.
Right.
That's up to the story. But I really like Prompto's journey a lot. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
That's cool.
What I really like about Final Fantasy 15 is that the characters, most Final Fantasy games, the characters kind of start meeting each other one by one. They don't know each other starting out. In this game, they're very good friends right from the get-go, and so you get to hear these interactions between them, and and it just feels very different from your typical Final Fantasy. And
right, it's not like you walk into a village and you're like, "You saved us from the mountain lion. I'm gonna go on a journey to death with you." Yeah, I mean, well, it makes sense, right? I mean, if you're gonna have this party, why not have that relationship already established? And I think that plays hand in hand with the gameplay changes, where you are essentially controlling a main character that's surrounded by a party, much more akin to, the gameplay style of Kingdom Hearts, as opposed to a turn-based something where, the excitement of getting a new party member is, okay, now I've got somebody to deal with flying enemies. Or,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Right.
These guys have got their own purpose right out of the gate. And all the awesome stuff that makes Final Fantasy great, all the leveling, the combo attacks, the magic, everybody fulfilling their purpose, all the different item use, that character, that's all still part of the game, which is great. But you already have an existing relationship, and it's like, okay, here are these guys, here are what they're going through. Let's start their story. No need to follow a lone hero and fabricate a party that follows along with it.
Right.
And I think that's really smart on
It's a great explanation.
That really is.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
All right.
Can't wait to see how Prompto develops in that respect.
We'll see.
All right. Well, in the interest of time, this will be my last question, and then I'll pass it to Ronan and Young, and you guys can ask whatever you have left on the sheet. So my question for you, Robbie, is talking to you throughout this interview and listening to some of your voice work as all these just different characters that you do. Can you tell us how it was jumping from that kind of tone and that kind of energy to the gritty workers and bad guys that you play in the Division?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's tough. Yeah, I think
you would never assume. You know?
I think I was every Hispanic guy in the division. Really weird. When the great part about the way our work is structured is we have these 4-hour sessions, 4 or 2 hours, and then we get to go have lunch and do whatever and hit the reset button. And when we come into a new session, it's at a different studio with a different director, different engineers, different environment. So that transition's a lot easier. Now, I'm not going to say it's tough when you're doing someone up here like Prompto, and then an hour later you're like, frag out! Like every 10 minutes. Like, yeah, it messes with your head, but that's kind of part of our job. You have to be like kind of it'll be able to jump myself. But yeah, it's a challenge. Like I will definitely, like when we were finishing up on the division, I did maybe half a dozen, 8 sessions on that. Near the end of it, I had to talk to my agents and be like, hey, is there any way they can make this on Friday afternoon, so I don't have to go be like, because I do like kids' voices in cartoons and sing and stuff like that. Is there any way I can not go do that the next morning? Because I don't think I can. So staying vocally healthy is a big part of our job.
Definitely.
So thankfully, the smarter you get about it. The division was a lesson for me. I learned a lot about myself in the division.
That's awesome. Did you like playing some bad guys?
Oh, I do play bad guys. I get typecast as young, goofy kid, and then for some reason, just like terrible, vicious bad guys. So I'm cool with it. I love playing bad guys, man.
Awesome.
I'm waiting. I've had some good hero stuff. I've got some more coming out that I can't talk about, but I want my character. I want my, like, you know what I mean?
Roll?
Yes.
Yeah, I want my super duper bad guy. Yeah. Someday. In a few
We
years.
shall look forward to that, definitely.
And
all right, Ronan.
I got other time. If you guys got anything burning, any burning questions, just let me know. But
Ronan and Young both got a couple more. And then when we're done, I don't know if Alyssa, your agent, let you know, but we do an outro for the show, so we'll have you. Perfect. All right, cool.
Love to.
All right, Ronan, you're up.
All right, so for those that may or may not have been watching the anime series on YouTube, you get to see a little bit of Prompto's childhood from Final Fantasy, and where he came from as this chubby kid that
Oh yeah, I love him.
Yeah, and he comes from from being this chubby kid that he doesn't really have a chance to talk to Noctis that much because obviously Noctis is a prince. You don't really get a chance to talk to somebody that much when you're somebody outside of that family, so to speak.
Royalty, yes.
Yeah, so I was kind of curious if you could, whether or not you can say parts of what he saw himself in his past tends to change how he develops throughout the course of the game. If you can say that is okay. All right.
And I can go on the record as saying I won't talk about that. Yeah, I gotta leave Prompto's past out of all questions. Yeah.
All right, no, it's fine.
No problem.
It's actually a little guy from Square right back here waiting with
The assassin.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Good question though. Yeah.
Yes.
Young.
All right.
All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, much of what we've seen about the game so far actually has been kind of very there's obviously a sense of urgency, but it's been also very chipper, very bright, and very hopeful. So I guess what I want to ask is, can you comment on if we can expect, in vague terms, for the game to have some darker moments, for it to have maybe some grimmer moments? Because Versus 13, that was definitely a bit more on the grim side of things, and then 15 just seems much brighter. Can we expect like a balance of both aspects, or?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I can say this. What makes the game bright, and what I feel like, and I might be talking out of turn here, but I feel like Square is trying to show us is the way the guys deal with what's going on is pretty positive, like you were saying. And that aspect of sort of fealty and brotherhood and all of that stuff. What they're going throughout the course of the game that you're going to find out is not very bright.
Okay.
There's a lot of, in the plot itself, there's a lot of adversity and dark moments, but you got to root for your hero to pull out of that, and that's sort of the job of a good game. So if you've got fears about it all just being fishing and bopping around town, don't worry. Things are gonna get real. They're gonna get real for sure.
Ooh,
All right.
Okay. You know, one quote that I recall from the game director himself is, "By the time the game ends, I want to make people cry." So, that should be interesting to see how that pans out. All right.
I guess shut the fuck
Very
out.
cool. Any last questions from you, Ronan?
Actually, yeah, I have one, but this, of course, whether or not you can answer this question is, totally up in the air at the moment because NDAs and all that. I know.
2 for 2.
So they showed a pretty lengthy gameplay reveal, I want to say a week or so back. And at the beginning of that, they showed what could almost amount to as a time skip in the game where the characters are a little bit older. And I was wondering whether or not you can say whether or not that has an effect on Prompto's personality at some point throughout the game.
No comment.
That's totally fine.
You're watching. You're watching part of a flashback as it goes on. Since they start in the future, that's already been revealed. So that's not a secret. But how it affects the stories and everyone's character, you gotta have to play it, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
I gotcha.
It's a very striking.
It's again in December if you want. But
Absolutely.
All right. It's a very striking scene, though.
It really
He's
is.
one of the more intimidating, less hammy villains that I've seen in a while. He's just sort of sitting there on his chair like this, with fire blazing everywhere, and he's just knocking these guys around. It's crazy. I'm really curious to see who he is.
Any last questions from you, Young?
Let's see.
Because I know he's got to get to the airport soon.
Yes. Just I guess one last question that I have is, as a voice actor, what tips would you give to someone who wants to get into the industry? Like, voice acting is something that I'm personally eventually trying to pursue. So for those kinds of people out there, what would you tell them?
Go. How do I say this without sounding like a jerk? Go learn to act first. Don't worry about mimicking your favorite voiceover artist. Don't worry about sounding like anybody, producing a vocal tone. Don't try to shape some performance because you think it'd be good for video games or cartoons or anime. Go to an acting class and do scene study, even if you hate it, and do all of the dumb acting technique stuff and take a voice and movement class and all of that. All of that stuff is the foundation of what every actor I know, except for the lucky few who've fallen into it through some other means, have come to find their way in a voice actor, to be a voice actor. And a lot of them that don't have that foundation don't last very long. So what I would say is go do that first. Then if you're serious about pursuing the career path of being a voice actor, and you want just tips and tricks, since you guys are internet guys, do you guys know who Dee Bradley Baker is? He's a multifaceted voiceover actor. Does creature voices a lot. He did the voice for Appa on Avatar, and pretty much if there's a monster running around in a game or a cartoon, it's him. And he does conventions, and he's been asked this question so many times that he took a big chunk of his life and made a website called I Want to Be a Voice Actor.
Yeah, heard of that.
Yeah, and you may know of it, but it is totally free, and he's not going to try to get you to buy a PDF or anything like that. It's just as a service for people who are interested in the industry and a way for his peers to direct people to somebody. And he's laid it out in such a genius way that you can follow it as a step-by-step pattern on what tips and tricks of what you should do and how you should pursue it. But if you're asking for my advice, I gotta say step one is acting class. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's you gotta do it.
I think a lot of people forget it's called voice acting. Not
yeah,
just voice.
Right.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great advice.
Yeah, it really is.
Thank you, Robbie. We appreciate that.
I actually have one small, simple question to ask before we wrap this up.
Yeah.
You got time for it? So, I could talk to you about anime and stuff like that until I'm blue in the face, obviously. But I was kind of curious if at some point in the future, because I do another interview show called Ninja Stars Not Included, where we talk about things like anime and stuff like that.
Yeah?
Oh, awesome. All right. That'd be great if you could come on that show. We could talk more about that. Maybe sometime after Final Fantasy 15 comes out as well, so we can talk more about that. That'd be great. All right, awesome, thanks.
No question. Oh, you used this to put me on the spot to say yes to your other show. I got it. Good move. No, it's so good. I'll say yes. Done and done.
Oh, all right. I appreciate
Well
it.
done, Ronan.
I'd love to come chat with you for a while, man.
That's awesome. All right, cool. Thanks.
Was that the last question?
That was it. I was waiting
okay.
on you, buddy. I was waiting on you.
I was waiting on. All right, cool. Well, that's the unscripted shows. So, Robbie, we like to end these shows with our voice actors doing a line or two as a voice from a game that they're in. So, if I could get you to do our intro, that would be great. This is your character, Prompto, from Final Fantasy, and you're watching the codec.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, we're good.
This is Prompto from Final Fantasy 15, and you're watching the codec.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Loved it. You guys got anything for him on the intros? So I know you guys like to do your own sometimes.
I think that's good for me. I don't have anything else.
Same for you, Young?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, Robbie, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we let you go, tell us where the fans can keep up with you. Where can they follow you? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, anything like that you got going on?
Twitter's probably the easiest. It's just my name. And you can find me on Facebook. I've got both profiles. Come find me, friend. We'll chat. And then if they want to look up any voice actors, they can go to behindthevoiceactors.com. It's a great website with all of our roles and all that stuff. Or IMDb. But if you want to chat, Twitter's the place to do it.
Awesome.
There you go, guys. Give Robbie a follow on Twitter. Show him some love from us over here at the Codec. Ronan, gonna say bye to Robbie.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, man. We definitely appreciate you having you on the show, and it's good to talk about Prompto. And hopefully, in the future, when you come back on the Codec, we can talk about a bit more about Final Fantasy and that character as time goes on.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks again, buddy. Definitely appreciate that.
All right, Ronan, gonna say bye.
Yeah, thanks.
Or not Ronan, but
I was gonna say, do you want me to go first?
You say it again.
Now?
Take two.
Yeah, man. Once again, thank you for just coming on to our show. I think through this interview, I'm kind of getting a feel for what kind of character Prompto is gonna be, just how much fun we're gonna have with him. So thanks a lot, and we appreciate all the info and the silence of not spoiling certain things.
Cool.
Of course, like I said, I'm a gamer. I gotta respect. No spoiler.
Definitely.
Definitely.
And yeah, we hope to have you back at some point and talk about Prompto once we play through the game and we really find out everything there is to know about the character.
Yeah.
And I think there might be some DLC coming along, I
Yes.
think, that the game director mentioned of some characters. We'll see, right? Yes. So.
He's right here. He's
He's
All right,
listening.
Robbie. Have a great day, man. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a safe flight.
Later, guys. Take care.
See you, man.
Okay,
Bye.
later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our interview with Robbie Daymond. What an upbeat guy, man! I love when we get a guest on here that likes to be on here.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun, man. Definitely, really high spirited too, which we, you don't really see a lot of that.
Yeah.
And,
He's so Prompto, it's not even funny.
Yeah, I know. Like
It's just-
he's just,
He's just Prompto, like
Yeah,
quintessential.
exactly.
I meant to ask him what the hell a Prompto is, but I forgot about that. So.
We had the whole crew here today, so that was awesome. Good to have everybody back on the show again. So let's recap on what we got going on, and then we'll check in with you guys real quick, see what you guys got, and then we'll get out of here. So next week, we've got a double feature, more or less, for you guys. So we have, on Friday, we have Elias...
You can do it. You can do it, Daly. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it.
We've
Was that
got
the
a
dubstep version?
Yeah, we've got Elias T coming on to the show, the voice actor for Adam Jensen.
He asked for this.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to him a little bit about his role in Deus Ex and how he's. Yeah, I like interviewing series characters. Talking to somebody like Robbie is great. Very upbeat and very fun to talk to, but it's something a little bit.
Did you just downplay Robbie's interview?
But it's something that's always a little different. It's not that it's better.
All right. I'm
worse.
just saying.
It's just different when you have somebody that's been a character for like a long time,
Right.
and he's been Adam for a couple of years now. So I'm excited to see what he's got to say and maybe what he's doing in the future. after that following Saturday, we have Josh Keaton. And we have Josh Keaton coming back on because he got a webcam, and he was like, hey, I want to come back on the show. I got some stuff going on, but I'm leaving for conventions and stuff after the 10th, so I'll be gone for a while. So I wanted to book him. Before he left, so he could talk to us about everything. So that's what we got. Yeah, exactly. But similar to like I said last week, it seems like Josh has been on like a Ask Me Anything roll. Like, I don't know if you guys watch his Twitter, but he has been answering almost every question coming over Twitter. So if for some reason you didn't get your question out to him over Twitter, or it got missed or something like that, ask it to us and we'll ask it to him, since we've already interviewed him. We've already knocked out all of the big questions that we kind of have. So this will be more of like an update, and then we'll be able to take some more fan questions that maybe we weren't able to take last time because of time. So that's what we got coming up on the Codec. Ronan, what you got going on?
So I guess I could talk a little bit about this. Been in contact with somebody over Twitter, somebody who works in Kingdom Hearts.
Very cool.
And he expressed interest in doing an interview at some point in the very near future. So I'll have that announcement set in stone for you guys in the coming weeks, and that'll be a lot of fun. So I think that's all I've got so far at the moment. But I'm currently in the process of trying to book more interviews as well. So you guys will probably see news about that over Twitter and stuff like that.
Guys, follow Ronan on Twitter so you can keep up to date on what he's doing and what's going on with him. That's a good place to do it. Don't try Facebook because he never checks his Facebook.
I'm never on Facebook.
He didn't even like my post. But yeah, follow Ronan on Twitter. It's at Corrupt Ronan. Give him a follow. Stay up to date on what he's doing. What about you, Young? What do you got going on? Real busy.
I mean, yesterday I did a little live stream, a Metal Gear Solid 5 anniversary live stream. I just played through the game just to celebrate 1 year since Metal Gear Solid 5 launched. How time passes. Holy shit.
Yeah, it does.
September 1st, last year is when the game launched. So I did that, but I also have, Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah, you got Metal Gear Survive news.
I got that going on, I guess.
Yeah.
Can we talk real quick about the
exciting
the announcement made by the community manager about Mission 51? You guys want to chat about that real quick?
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Did you guys hear about it?
Yeah, I did a whole video on it, so I definitely heard about it.
Okay, I haven't seen that. I've got to go watch that. Granted, for some reason, Young, your videos are not popping up in my sub box anymore. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, I'm having to go to your page to actually see.
It might be a YouTube thing.
It definitely is. It's stupid. I'm gonna have to. I know there's a way you can turn on like direct notifications, but I have to figure out how to do it. Yeah. In any case, so some of you that watch the show might have heard, some of you might not, but recently a community manager, I don't know if it was Robert or the guy from...
Peeler.
Was it Robert? Okay, I didn't know if it was Robert or the guy from, was it Reddit that's been... Ben. Yeah, Ben. I don't know who it was, but one of them said that Mission 51 was cut early in the development of the game. It was planned for DLC, and then it was scrapped as DLC pretty early on. And I just can't figure out why. I just can't. I've been trying to think of a reason why they wouldn't do it.
He never specifically said it was planned for DLC, actually, but I can tell you for a fact that it was, because somebody's told me that how that went down. That it was, like, the plan was Kojima's going to keep working on Metal Gear Solid 5 after the game launches and finish Mission 51, and that was supposed to launch.
That's exactly what I heard. I don't know. It might be the same person. I don't know. But, yeah, so I just cannot understand why it just wasn't done or even worked on while he was gone. Like, that's been the one thing about this little announcement. Like, I figured they ran out of time. That's what I was assuming, is they just didn't have enough time to finish it, and then the Kojima debacle just kind of they scrapped it.
Didn't they list a percentage about how much it was completed to begin with?
Yeah, it was like
30%? So so even with that,
30% early in development, like.
Well, I mean that's even more reason why we're probably not going to see that ever come back, is because it wasn't finished.
It's just
and Kojima's not there anymore to finish it. And if they hire a new guy to come in and say, "Yeah, finish this story that Kojima started but didn't finish it," it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same, and that will be the guy, if he fucks it up, that ruined Metal Gear Solid 5. And you do not want to. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy.
Right, and I get that to a certain extent, but if you watch that cutscene, it's 30% done, but I feel like the percentages that's done is the story. Like, the whole cutscene is there. The only things that are not in there is the actual physical gameplay. So it just needed somebody to go in and add, okay, what's the gameplay for this story?
That's hard to say. That's hard to say.
More complicated. Than it seems. It's a lot of working pieces.
Yeah.
And there's someone who has to glue it all together, and that was Kojima, and he's no longer there.
Right.
It's not just a matter of we have already got a structure. Let's just do what what Kojima set out. It's just we don't know what he had in mind for the final version of that mission. So I'm imagining that's what it is. I don't know if there's any other ulterior motive, but I'm not like defending it.
Right?
It is what it is. I would love Mission 51 to come out and have one little extra bit of gameplay and cutscenes and story to play through, but it's just not gonna happen, and
you don't really have any control over it, So it is what it is, and you can't really say that you know exactly how it went down because none of us worked there.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really know.
So
it's a shame.
The follow-up question to that is also recently somebody tweeted at Robert and asked about the Chapter 3, if this was going to be included in the Definitive Edition, and he replied that the Definitive Edition shares the same nuclear disarmament goals as the regular one. So does that, for you guys...
that's exactly what it is. That's Chapter 3. Nuclear disarmament.
Okay. Do you think that plays any additional, I guess...
No extra missions? Is that what you mean?
No extra missions, no extra content, just that one cutscene that's been data mined out of the game?
Chapter 3, I think, has always been a meta chapter. It's us, the players, trying to disarm the nukes. That's, I think... Look, Chapter 3 is called Peace.
Yes.
I don't know, like, players coming together to disarm the nukes. That's as peaceful as it gets. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that encompasses the word peace so much. And if you look at the cutscene of the nuclear disarmament event, the one that leaked, there's one point where they show like this Earth rotating, and you see like icons of nukes sort of disappearing, and they become a peace symbol right as they disappear. Like I feel like it's all there really, and all people have found is the cutscene and the title card, Chapter 3. They've not found assets indicating that there are any more missions beyond Mission 51. It's just people understandably being angry and because Konami's done a shit job at communicating all this stuff, and so people made their own assumptions and whatnot, but there's just no actual evidence suggesting there's anything beyond Chapter 3 that isn't just the nuclear disarmament event. Just the name Peace, and just the fact that the data miners can find much more beyond the cutscene, and like that, I feel like it's all there, the indications. And Chapter 2 isn't even like filled to the brim with, you know what I mean? Like, it's all rehash missions, and there's a lot. You could argue that there's stuff missing within Chapter 2, but to say that there's a whole set of missions for Chapter 3, I just don't see it. Me personally, no. I don't see it at all. I think Mission Voices was supposed to be the end. Like, that's the whole point of the game. This Venom Snake revelation, the passing of the big boss title to the players, like that was really the big thing with Phantom Pain. And then there's Chapter 1 with Skullface and the Sahelanthropus and all that, and the subplots like Eli, which again the Mission 51 was cut. But in terms of Chapter 3, I really think if players actually manage somehow to disarm all the nukes, we're going to see the title card.
We got to be close. I think it's almost a fact that the older generation of consoles they got to be dying out of players. People probably aren't playing them much over there, so there's probably a couple guys that are still disarming there, and I think at the last count, it wasn't crazy high numbers except for on PC.
It was like in the hundreds for some platforms. But the problem is some people just they made a nuke and then they stopped playing. They they probably don't even know or care about the nuclear event. So that's going to linger there. It's not that they want to use the nuke or don't want to use the nuke. It's just they kind of forgot about it. So hopefully Konami will find a way to maybe
if you haven't been active for a certain amount of time.
Players, make them not count, because that feels kind of unfair. Like, I'm sure, well, I don't know if I'm sure, but like I'm sure like countries keep track of their nukes, right? Do they? I don't know.
Yeah.
They probably. Who knows?
Yeah.
Ronan, you sharing the same thoughts as Young on this one? Or have you got something else?
Absolutely. And I know there was a lot of things about people saying like, okay, well, there's a definitive edition coming out, so maybe they'll add in that lost content. But there is no legitimate reason why they would ever do something like that and screw over people that have already bought the edition before this without making
I figured it might be a free update. I thought it might be a free update, an update, because I mean, to be honest, talking about
Konami here.
Yes, we are talking about Konami, but they have kept Metal Gear Solid up to date more than almost any other AAA developer.
That's up to date, though. We're talking about adding additional content, like an entire new mission to the game. You got new
guns coming in. You got new features.
That is a new story mission to the entire game. That costs money to make,
I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I don't see, if they did that, I wouldn't blame them, because as a business, you got to make money somehow, right? That shit costs money. But I can't see them doing that and screwing over so many people at the same time.
And I think the name Definitive Experience is what I think that was a mistake. They should call it Game of the Year Edition and just included all the stuff that's already been released. But the fact that they called it Definitive Experience, it's almost like they're trolling us. They're like, guys, am I right? Definitive Experience, get the joke? Like it's
the one you're looking for.
Yeah, it's almost messed up the way they named that.
Mission 51 edition.
God.
Well, here's the thing: is really what they didn't want to tell you guys is that Chapter 3 is actually in Metal Gear Survive. So you gotta.
God, don't even say those words. Good mother of God, that gave me.
I could tell you were not very happy with it. But anyways, that wraps it up for today, guys. That was our interview with Robbie Daymond, aka Prompto from Final Fantasy. We had a little bit of Metal Gear talk here. We're going to be back next week with some more interviews, 2 of them, one on Friday, one on Saturday. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Hopefully you guys can both make it, but if your schedules don't allow, hopefully you can make at least one.
I'll let you know.
All right, Ronan, time to say goodbye.
Yep. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in for this fantastic episode of The Codec. And thank you again to Robbie for joining us once again. Looking forward to talking to you again in the future about Final Fantasy 15, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that as well. But until next time, I will see you guys on the next episode of The Codec. You guys stay sharp, and I'll see you next time.
All right, Young, say bye to everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another awesome episode of The Codec. Great guest today, very fun, lots of interesting hints and clues about Final Fantasy 15. Look forward to some Death Stranding content. I've got a video coming up today in which I'll be talking about some interesting things that other people might not know yet. That I got.
Can't wait to see it.
A source. And Metal Gear stuff. Metal Gear Survive. That's happening.
For all your Metal Gear Survive information.
Yes, stay tuned right here on Young, But yeah, I mean, just tune in to all of our channels and all of our live streams and all that, and it's a lot of great stuff happening, so look forward to that, and I will see you guys next time. Young out!